Welcome to Dementia Resilience with Jill Lorenz, a candid conversation as we learn about dementia, Alzheimer's, and its effects on the people we love. Jill's years of dedication and experience help you adapt, recover, overcome obstacles, and help find a positive outcome. It's time for Dementia Resilience with Jill Lorenz.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Boy, it is a cloudy day in Denver today, but we're supposed to have nice weather, I think, most of the day. Today, I want to reach out and talk to neighbors of people that have Alzheimer's, caregivers in my caregiver nation who are doing a job they never asked for, but some consider an honor. You know, it's amazing to me. I find people all the time that say they didn't ever expect to be a caregiver. It was an unexpected title and job. And many people consider it an honor and a privilege to care for somebody that they love, but they did not expect to have the 24-hour round-the-clock care for that person. You know, so now that summer is here, I wanted to bring up a couple of things that I think we should be more and more aware of, especially in our neighborhoods. So first, I want to start by talking to neighbors. How do we make better choices about the people that live in our neighborhood? And we maybe know or don't know. It's that quiet house that's covered with a lot of bushes, and we know somebody lives there. She comes out once in a while, or he comes out once in a while to check the mail, and, you know, so on and so forth. And some people like to be left alone by design. But we also have to help our fellow human beings. Check on our neighbors. Go over and say, hey, is everything working? It's a pretty hot day. Is your air conditioning working? Are you cool enough? Are there windows you can't get open if you want to air the house out? You know, sometimes after the long winters, we need to get rid of some of the dust inside and so on and so forth. And how can we really work with those people? Ask maybe if you can come in and visit or bring over some tea. Did you get their phone number ever at any time in all the 10 or 20 years you lived next door to them? You know, as people age, they need more help. And as neighbors, it would behoove us to try to help everybody live well and with quality. And we know that there's a lot of people who are living by themselves, who are lonely, who have some type of dementia and could possibly need your help. So if you did go over and knock on that door, what could you do? Could you ask, do they need somebody to mow their lawn? Would it help if you could wash some of their windows? Do they need to water anything? Could you get some of the neighbors together and see if you could, you know, help weed their yard and do a little yard work, water some plants, you know, just see if you can get that person to come out and talk to them. And if they repeat themselves or say the same things over or again or ask a question about what time of year it is, don't get freaked out by that. You may be meeting Alzheimer's or different types of dementia for the first time, but just understand that person maybe just their cognitive impairment has taken over a little bit, and it's been a long time since they've had a conversation with somebody, and they might be a little bit nervous. But what if you got to know that person? Could you invite them over for dinner? Could you just make sure that their front porch is swept? That maybe you can get rid of the cobwebs and all of the spiders around the front door or the back door, sweep up their porch, pull out a rocker or something from the storage or their garage and set it on the front porch so they can sit and enjoy themselves. You know, wave to them as you go by. What about having a neighborhood party or something like that you could invite them to and let everybody meet Mr. or Mrs. Smith, you know, whoever. I'm just using that as an example. But, you know, I'm really sure that a lot of folks could really use the help of a neighbor checking in on them, making sure that they're doing okay. And if you can get to know them, you can get inside their house. Could you help them open some windows? Could you make sure everything's functioning properly? Their heat, their air, that if you can peek inside the refrigerator, do they have expired food? Is it clean? Is it dirty? Just do a sort of an evaluation. It would not hurt at all if you saw something that looked amiss. You might find cat or dog feces in their house or something like that. And if you did, maybe you could call the local police department and ask them to come over and do a wellness check. If they find out that person is living in conditions that are not humane or healthy for them, they could certainly call APS, Adult Protective Services, or maybe family members and say, hey, did you know that your loved one is living in conditions that just don't seem healthy for them? They're wearing clothes that are not appropriate for the weather. The house is dusty. The person was sneezing a lot. They don't seem in good health. All those kind of things could really help. Maybe you could bond together as a family or neighbors and do some spring cleaning at their house, just some dusting, some vacuuming, mopping their floors, cleaning their counters, if they'll let you. Bring that person into your fold. Don't ignore the person in the neighborhood that is lonely and alone, and that goes for anybody. But certainly our friends with diagnosis of Alzheimer's could really, really use our help. So think about those kinds of things. Do they have an animal? Does that animal look like it's fed well? Does it have super long nails that it's walking around on and can't hardly walk? Is there, feces in the house? Can you change out some cat litter for them? Those animals need protection too. And oftentimes the people with Alzheimer's and different types of dementia, Lewy body, hippocampal sclerosis, Parkinson's disease with memory loss, they're all kind of in that same boat of needing a little bit of extra assistance. So think about those kinds of things. And if you do get to know them a little bit better, could you dance with them? Put some music on? Would you notice around the house? Do they have military pictures and things like that on the wall? Can you have a conversation with them about something that was important to them at one point in their life? Do they have knitted blankets? Could you talk to them about things like that? Talk to them about their family that's far away. Maybe sit down and write some letters with them to family members that are no longer here in the state and don't see them very often. So on and so forth. Do they have some unopened mail that maybe you could assist them with? Let's be a friend. How can we be better about caring for our other humans that are human beings that are walking around here in this country? I really think that we need to sometimes stop and take a look. Summertime brings out a lot of fun and the best in us, and people are alive and wanting to get out and walk in parks and walk their dogs and things like that. And if you have an opportunity to work with somebody who lives in your neighborhood that is showing some type of cognitive impairment and memory loss, and you can make a difference in their life, you can make them happier just for a couple of hours, just for a few minutes, take them over a peanut butter jelly sandwich, make sure they've got a nice cold drink. If you see them out on the porch, just a wave, just a kind word would go an awful long way. So that is for family and friends and neighbors. When we come back after our break, I want to talk about things that caregivers have told me about the surprises that they had, the things they weren't expecting when they became caregivers of somebody they love or a friend or whoever it was. And I want to talk about some of those things, and then what other people who are caregivers who are doing it really well and have their life balanced and enjoy caregiving, what they're doing to combat some of the stresses that they have. I think we can have a nice mix of what's going on out there, and then how can we make a difference? How can we make it better? How can I help some of you to have some new ideas about ways that you can pull your work life, your family life, and your caregiver life together that benefits everybody and makes you feel appreciated, less stressed, and so forth. And our people with diagnosis feeling a whole lot more loved and cared for, and that people still care about who they are and that they're still here. All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with Dementia Resilience with Jill Lorenz. Hey friends, I'm excited to tell you about Pine Grove Crossing Assisted Living and Memory Care in Parker, Colorado. They set the bar high for person-centered care. They're locally owned, and they focus on exceeding their residents' expectations while providing excellent dining, housekeeping, and transportation services. Their care team with licensed nurses are available 16 hours per day, 7 days a week to ensure clinical needs are addressed as soon as possible. Check them out at pinegrovecrossing.com or 303-996-8000 and see how care goes into everything they do.
It's time for Dementia Resilience with Jill Lorenz.
Okay, we're back. And I wanted to talk about some of the stresses that have been expressed to me from different caregivers, primary or not, and how their lifestyle changed or their daily schedule changed just to care for this person. And it isn't always a family member. It can be a friend. It could be ex-in-law. It could be a family member. It could be a cousin, wife, husband, daughter, son, on and on. Mother, father. So, all right. So some of the things that I have been told that have changed that really rocked their world was they all of a sudden had to start visiting every day, every single day, or at least a couple times more a week than they used to, which really took a toll on them. I know a lady that moved her dad into a community, and she was literally there every day. She came straight from work, and I could see how the stress was wearing on her. And I tried to tell her, you don't have to come every day. You put him in the care of someone else, and they may not do it the way you did it, but they're doing a good job. Take a night off. Go see a friend or something. Other people have said that they took a second shift job just to be home during the day. They gave up their social life. They're no longer going out with friends for coffee or a drink or something like that. A lot of people have to take family medical leave act, the FMLA, and come and stay with a loved one for X amount of time just to get all of their finances and lifestyle and changes and so forth in order. And that created absence from work. So some people moved. A good friend of mine, Barb, moved to Wichita to be with her mom. She used to work at the Alzheimer's Association with me, and I know that was a huge change for her to move from Colorado Springs to go to Wichita, but she's making the best of it and doing what she can. Some folks retire early. My friend fell into that too. Had to move to a different house. You just have to move to a house a little closer to that person. I have a client who recently is trying to sell her business because she cannot run her construction business with her husband's FTD. So these are issues that people have. They've had to become full-time caregivers, and they feel like they're full-time nurses, full-time therapists, and dietitians, and nutritionists, and things like that. Now they're having to drive this person everywhere they go. They might have to take them to the doctor. They might have to take them to the dentist, various things of that nature, which really can disrupt your lifestyle. What if you have to take your loved one who has Alzheimer's or a different type of memory loss of dementia to a baseball game of your grandchild or something like that? That can really disrupt your life. Calling more often because you have to make sure that they're there and not wandering around the neighborhood. Maybe you have to go over and balance their checkbook and make sure that all their bills are paid, so on and so forth. A lot of people have had to come in and hire care from like a home care company. Have you ever considered maybe not only hiring a home care company, but the daycares around town, the adult daycares? There are great programs out and about in Denver. My friend Mary Archer runs that program. Fantastic program where you can have your loved one go on a hike or to a restaurant or just living and working and socializing with other people with Alzheimer's has been really great for the people in that program. You could also go to a support group. Obviously, I've talked about that quite a bit, but so could your loved one they could go to a support group with people with the diagnosis. Some of the other stresses that people have is having to wake up and give those folks medications all the time that they didn't have to do that in the past, or check blood levels or diabetic levels and things like that. People get up and have to go to church, and now they can't do that anymore. They've had to give up going to church and going on those social outings and meeting friends for drinks after work and so on and so forth. So the people that I talk to that seem to balance this really well, I've asked questions about how do they make it better? How do they try to utilize the friends and people in their life to help them? And one of the biggest things they say is they reach out for help. They'll let people at their local church or their local book club or their local knitting club, bunco and things like that, know that they need a little assistance. Could somebody come over and visit for an hour with mom or dad or their husband so that they could go out for a little bit? Sometimes it's taking a class. I provide classes for family caregivers so that I can help them learn more about communication skills and how to work with activities of daily living. And I do that because I think it's important for people to understand how the brain works and when it's impaired, what's not working well. And I know that when they have that information, they have that knowledge in their back pocket, they don't get so rattled by repetitive questions or no, I can't do this. I know I've said it before, but it bears saying again, when a person with Alzheimer's or a memory type of dementia says no, it doesn't mean no. It means they've forgotten how to do what you've asked them to do. Remember that, people. So as an example, they might say, a woman might say, no, I don't want to help you fold laundry. And she's folded laundry her entire life, but she watches you and models after you if you just quietly hand her one of those towels. But if you asked her straight out to help you fold laundry, she'd just look at you and say no. So no doesn't mean no. It means I've forgotten how to do that. Remember that. Hey, depending on how you feel about it, prayer and faith can go a long way. Pray with family and friends for strength for what you're doing. Remember to reach into that bag and find lots of love and compassion for those folks that you're working with, and laugh a lot. For gosh sakes, laugh at situations that go on. If they say something funny or they do something funny or they are wearing an outfit that doesn't match, say, well, gosh, you look really colorful today. You're going to get everybody's attention with that outfit. That looks fantastic. Even if it doesn't match, who cares? Find respite care. Get away for a few hours. Find that time for yourself. When you do that, you find more patience. And I promise you that will make a huge difference. Patience goes a long, long way. And if you can't get out of the house and you're there with your person that you care for, remember, there are online support groups. Frontal Temporal has an online support group. FTD.org, I believe it is. You can always call the Alzheimer's Association and ask for help, and maybe take the time to do that when that person is calm and content watching a TV show or taking a nap, things like that. Go outside with your loved one. Have a picnic lunch in the backyard. Well, maybe you can work on their garden or have them come to your house while you're cleaning your house and doing some things around your own house that you can get done when they are in a calm and content place. And hey, by all means, if you have to sit down and have a cup of coffee and shed a few tears and grieve a little bit for this long, long disease and long goodbye, go right ahead. It is perfectly okay to grieve and love and respect your loved one and have memories of them how they once were. But then you've got to lift yourself back up, get off your knees, stop your crying. You can have a pity party, but you got to get back in the game because having down days and bad days don't work for anybody. We're going to take another break, and we'll be right back with more conversation about Caregiver Nation and how you can care for yourself.
Living and working with Alzheimer's and other dementias can often be challenging. Summit Resilience Training provides education utilizing non-medical approaches for those who work with our friends affected by dementia. Believing families still need one-on-one assistance, we provide classes which help them understand the diseases affecting their loved ones, offering strategies and techniques for success with activities of daily living and working with confusing behaviors. We offer in-home assessments. Education programs instilling person-centered care philosophies are offered for professional caregivers working in communities and homes, which can be customized for their staff. Training is also available for first responders. We are passionate that people with dementias such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and others are approached with compassion and understanding, and those who work with them have all the tools they need for success. Call us at Summit Resilience Training, 303-420-6988 to schedule a class or in-home assessment. Visit our website at summitresiliencetraining.com for more information.
It's time for Dementia Resilience with Jill Lorenz.
Okay, we're back and talking about how we can live our lives fully with quality while we are caregiving for a person with Alzheimer's or different types of memories, dementias. Well, first of all, one of the things I want you to remember is you're doing the best you can with the circumstances you have. You may get frustrated that family and friends don't come around anymore. That happens sometimes. Sometimes we choose to do this on our own because of our own choices. We don't ask people to help us. We don't look for someone's help or advice. And when we get in that rut, we really struggle when that person goes into a care community because you don't trust how other people care for your loved one. So one of the things you could do with that is make sure you don't take anything personally. With the family members that don't understand, or with the person that has the disease that might say something that seems like they could have had a filter there when they said it. Are you trying to kill me with that food you just gave me? Or repetitive questions, or angry because you're asking them to bathe. All those things are kind of par for the course. So if they don't have a good day, that's all right. Not everybody has a good day. You can come back on another day and try again. This is not a stereotypical disease of any sort, any of the memory loss diseases. As I said again earlier, Parkinson's, 80% of people with Parkinson's have memory loss. I don't know if people know that. They also have hallucinations. We know that people with Alzheimer's have extreme memory loss throughout the course of their disease, and it gets worse as they progress. Hippocampal sclerosis is the same. Lewy body dementia is the same. And when our folks have troubling reactions to triggers, or even things that didn't trigger them, just try to put yourself in their shoes. Don't try to intervene all the time. Sometimes being quiet around them is best. Less is more. Get out of the way and eliminate overstimulating situations. Try soft music. Be understanding. Bear with them. Try not to fix everything all the time. And talk directly to them. How are you feeling? What's going on? Are you okay today? Why are you sad? Do you know? A yes or no question will get you a long way. Sometimes they will just say yes or no, or they will expand on that issue. So I want you to definitely look at all these different ideas and think about if it's something that you can remember for them that is fun or a happy time, a happy memory, and bring it up. They might actually start laughing in a situation where you thought it wasn't going to ever get better. Use life stories. Talk about something they did at work. Talk about experience they had in life. Talk about vacations that they went on, different relationships that they've had through life. We've all got somebody in the family that made us laugh at one time, or was that goofy relative that everybody knew about. Have a few laughs at their expense. Who cares? Let's have a little fun with our life, right? It won't always be bad. We will have some bad days, but always think of the good days that you can have. And if worse comes to worse, just sit with them, hold their hand, take a walk, be silent. Do what you can to make that person feel calm and content most of the time. Okay, well, I hope I've given you some good ideas today. Next week, I'm going to have a guest on that I've had on before. I had him on last year. His name is Kerry Johnson, and he works with the District Attorney's Office of Jefferson County. And Kerry's going to come in and talk to us about fraud prevention, and we'll have some new ideas since the last time he was here. But one of the things that we're going to embark on and we're really going to talk about is we call them whack-a-mole disciples. But what happens is there are people who pop up all over the city promising that they can reverse dementia or they can slow the progression of the disease. And unfortunately, they're not just saying things like that. They take it to another level and they charge our friends with diagnosis and their families and people who are afraid of getting this disease, getting Alzheimer's or hippocampal sclerosis or any of them, thousands of dollars, promising that they can cure or reverse their disease or slow the progression. And we know that they can't. And as Carrie Johnson said to me from the DA's office, and even my friend Randy from the Colorado Department of Health, we get rid of one and they pop back up. That's why we call them the whack-a-mos. It's like that game where you whack them down and another one pops up. But we're going to talk about what can we do to prevent elder fraud. What can we do to prevent people who will use our credit cards, credit card theft, mail fraud, and especially these folks that make promises that they cannot keep. And don't believe everything you read in a book, too. There are some books out there recently that say the same thing, that they can cure Alzheimer's or reverse Alzheimer's. Listen, I don't want to be a naysayer. I don't want to rain on everybody's parade. But here's the state of the union right now. There is no blood test that can be taken that can tell you you have Alzheimer's right now. Even Parkinson's disease or Lewy body, these are done by PET scans, by major neurologists who know what they're doing, that have the ability to read these scans and are licensed to read these scans and do neurobehavioral exams with you and help you understand what disease you might have, where it is going, and how we can help you live well with these diseases. And I want you to trust in that, because we have way too many people that are spending $10,000 to $20,000, their life savings, when they live on $1,000 or $1,100 with their Social Security and may or may not have a pension coming in, and they are being robbed blind by people right here in Denver that will take their money and run. And it's unsettling. It makes me angry. And Carrie and I are going to talk about it. And it's criminal. It is absolutely criminal. And I'm working on one of those cases right now with all the entities I just told you. And we're going to hopefully get to the bottom and at least have one or two less of kind of the snake oil salesmen out there trying to take your money and make you believe that they can do something with your disease that they cannot. So it's going to be a fascinating conversation with Carrie Johnson. I'm so glad and grateful to him to come back and talk about these things with us. And by the way, Senior Law Day was yesterday, and Carrie was busy with that. And I hope that anybody that attended that in Jefferson County had a good time and learned a lot. So that's what we do here, folks. I try with Dementia Resilience with Jill Lorenz to provide as much information as I can about different types of dementia and to help all the people in my caregiver nation and my friends with diagnosis to live well and have lots of quality of life and maintain their dignity. If you need to get a hold of me, call my office at 303-420-6988. 303-420-6988. You can reach me on summitresiliencetraining.com, and you can do a little sing-song with resilience. RESILIENCE. SummitResilienceTraining.com. I've got lots and lots of free information for you, different entities that you can contact if you're having any issues, from legal to Medicaid to Medicare to how to choose a care community, all kinds of information. I also have my show listed here on the weekend programming, Cruisin' 1430 AM Denver, and you can just go on the programming, look at the weekend programming, and pull up Dementia Resilience and listen with Jill Lorenz and listen to my shows, or you can listen to the podcast that I load on Apple, Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and Google Play. And please join those so that you get join them so that you can get those every time they come out. All right, I'll see you next week, and everybody have a great weekend.
You've been listening to Dementia Resilience with Jill Lorenz. Visit her website at summitresiliencetraining.com to learn more, and join us next week as we learn more about dementia, Alzheimer's, and overcoming obstacles with a positive outcome. See you next time.